Good evening. It's our pleasure to welcome you this evening. On behalf of the Board of Directors of KIND, we think we have a fabulous evening in store. It gives us an opportunity to bring all of us up to date with what has been going on, recognize and honor people who've been doing some amazing work, and perhaps more than anything else, say thank you. Thank you to all of you in this room and your many colleagues and peers across the country who have done so much in the past 12 months for kids in need of defense. The truth is, the last year has really been a year like no other when it comes to the cause of representing children who have come to the United States alone. As we've all seen in the news over the past year, this has been a 12-month period that literally witnessed the arrival of 68,000 children. Children who need a lawyer if their story is going to be told, if their story is going to be heard by an immigration judge who is deciding that child's fate. We'll talk more about how things have evolved as the evening goes on. We'll talk about some of the advances we've made, and we'll talk about the incredible challenges we continue to face. But first, let us start by saying thank you, and let me turn it over to Wendy.
Thank you. And while it may sound odd in the midst of a crisis, we are also here to recognize and honor, because there is much to be joyful about. The extraordinary commitment of the U.S. legal community to giving back and helping those children as no one else has. KIND within our partners has generated more than $70 million in pro bono services. We often think of food, water, shelter, and health care when we think about the needs of refugees. We rarely think of legal services, but for the children served by you in the room, that is exactly the lifeline that they need most. Representation can transform a child's life from one of fear and uncertainty to hope. The numbers are stark. Children who are represented are 5 times more likely to be granted protection and the precious right to stay in the United States, no longer fearful of deportation. And not only do you give your time, your talents, and other valuable resources, you demonstrate deep compassion and caring for every child client who walks through your door. That is perhaps the most valuable resource of all.
In the midst of the child migration crisis in the past year, KIND really has risen to the occasion on all fronts. We've doubled our legal services capability so that we can take on even more cases. We speak up in the media. We testify before Congress and meet with the White House. We've focused on strategically engaging in the region, in Central America, to provide meaningful opportunities for children to apply for refugee status, to assess the prevalence of sexual violence against girls, and to increase our work helping children return home safely to their families and communities if they don't qualify for legal status to remain in the United States. The stories are striking. We've seen many of them, you've heard many of them. Several of you have represented children who have embodied these unbelievable experiences. We've gotten to know over the past year children like one KIND client named Olivia. She is now in a safer place because of our work, but it was not an easy path for her. Gang raped for 4 days, turned away by the police when her family sought their help, Olivia did the only thing that she could. She fled to the United States, a country that for her symbolizes safe haven. Olivia was granted asylum thanks to the help of her pro bono attorneys. It's also thanks to the hard work and commitment of a group here tonight that deserves special recognition. I'd like to invite the staff of KIND to stand now so we can all say thank you to them. As the chair, I want you to know that all of us on the KIND board are thankful for the great work that you're doing. I think for many Americans, it is hard to understand the plight that has forced tens of thousands of children literally to flee for their lives from countries like El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala. And as we try to do every year, we want to share some of their stories so that those of us who do this work can come away with a renewed appreciation for what is at stake. Please join me now in watching for a few minutes a short video about a child who is, in fact, like many of those individuals who have brought us together this evening.